England know how unique it is. The 6 states that make up the region, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, and Rhode Island, all have a culture and a history that sets them apart from the rest of the country. Different, not better, but different. But that last one on the list, Rhode Island, seems to be the oddest of them all. Now, most historians think that Rhode Island inherited that unique personality from a real person, Roger Williams. He started out life as a Puritan minister who was born in London in 1603, and then he followed his fellow religious separatists across the Atlantic to a settlement called Boston in 1630. But he had a lot of trouble fitting in. It seems that he had a few radical ideas that bothered everyone else around him. He thought that, yes, while people should have complete religious freedom, it was wrong for the church to be so woven into the government as it was in Puritan Massachusetts. He was an early abolitionist, way back in the early 1600s, and he also felt that the English settlers should treat the Native American neighbors around them on equal terms and pay them fair prices for their land. And in October of 1635, these ideas earned him a trial and a conviction for heresy and sedition. In the winter of that year, Roger Williams and a small band of 12 friends headed south from Boston on a journey that eventually led them into Narragansett territory, south of the Seekonk River, in a place that we now call Rhode Island. And there he founded a town, a settlement that would become a place called Providence. And today, as we all know, Providence is the capital of Rhode Island, but that's partly thanks to the work of Roger Williams. He was the one who traveled back to London to acquire the charter to make the colony official. He was the one who befriended the local tribe of Narragansett, who protected them and took care of them when they were weak and new. And when he passed away in 1683, he might not have been a legend yet, but he was certainly a hero to them. So Williams was buried on his family farm in Providence, right beside a young apple tree. In the decades that followed, his home fell into ruin and it collapsed, eventually becoming nothing more than a pile of rubble in the cellar. Time has a way of erasing our footprints, doesn't it? And as the centuries passed by, the locals began to forget where Roger Williams' grave was. In 1860, nearly 200 years after his burial, some of the residents of the city decided to put up a proper monument to honor the life of Roger Williams. It sounds like a great idea, but part of that process would involve disinterring his remains and moving them to a new, better gravesite. So they had to follow the rumors and the legends and start digging in a spot that they were told was his gravesite. What they found inside it, though, was a complete surprise. The legendary man's body was gone. They knew they were in the right place because all the clues were there to hint at that. There were pieces of coffin wood in the soil. The earth itself was what they called greasy earth because it had once played host to a decomposing human body. And I know greasy earth is the kind of thing you want to think about after dinner, but come on, this is greasy earth time. They even found a tooth, which is a good sign, and a sliver of bone. But the man's corpse was gone. But something else was there. You see, that young apple tree that he had been buried beside had become an old apple tree. And trees have roots. Roots that seek out an easy path through the hard, rocky New England soil. And over the 2 centuries that passed between his death and the monument construction, those tree roots had